Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kyle Henderson from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Thank you for joining us tonight following Alabama's 39-10 victory over Missouri. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to bring on the show outline in just a minute. Here's what I know, and I know everybody wants to know. Here's what I know about Tua Tagovailoa. All right, got my lay on from Mitch in Hawaii. This is what we know on Tua. Everybody's been asking. Everybody wants to know the scoop, what's going to happen with Tua, how Alabama's going to play it. This is what we know right now. Tua went out mid-third quarter, right? He was in the medical tent for nearly 20 minutes, right? Mom and dad came down to see him. Nick Saban said regarding Tua's injury that it's a tweaked knee, the same knee that he tweaked earlier that week, right? He's wearing a brace on his knee. Now, I don't know. I mean, 20 minutes in the medical tent, right? I mean, still kind of curious to what really constitutes as a major injury. I'm not saying it's a major injury. The rumor mill has been on fire, and they're saying that, Tua has this and that. But, I mean, until we hear something from Nick Saban, I'm going to say trust in Saban, right? I mean, he's never avoided injuries regarding his players before. He said that actually Tua could have went back into the game. So I think that has to make Alabama fans feel fine going into this game against Tennessee. So what we know right now is Tua has a tweaked knee. Doesn't seem like it's too big of a deal. We will know more on Monday during Nick Saban's press conference. I'm sure we're going to be he's going to be fired with questions regarding Tua, the quarterback who's been on fire through the first 7 weeks of the season, still the Heisman favorite. Last game against Missouri threw 3 touchdowns, now has 21 touchdowns this season. Get this, the record at Alabama for most touchdowns in a season is 30, set by A.J. McCarron. So good chance that Tua can slice that down. And like I said, we'll let you know more about Tua on Monday. So if you have call-in questions tonight, just keep that in mind that we will inform you if anything happens regarding Tua on Monday. But for right now, this is what we have. It's a tweaked knee. Now, I do have some additional news regarding Devontae Smith, who's a wide receiver, also pulled up with a slight injury last night against Missouri. I've been told by sources that he will miss at least 2 to 3 weeks with an injury. I'm not exactly sure what the injury is, but don't expect Devontae Smith in the next weeks to come due to an injury that he suffered last night against Missouri. All right, so here is the show outline for tonight, and I'll take your calls in just a few minutes on the BamaInsider.com live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight. The call-in show number is 205-686-3604. We will start out, as we already did, with what we know on Tua. And as I said, again, right now it's a tweaked knee. Whatever that means, tweaked knee. I'm going to play the Saban presser here in a few minutes, after this actually, and then we'll look at the offensive stats against Missouri, the defensive stats against Missouri as well, look at the offensive and defensive grades, and provide some mind-blowing stats that will blow your mind on Alabama through 7 weeks, and of course, we'll take your calls right here on the BamaInsider.com live stream. Thanks for joining us. If you could put where you're at, where you're calling from, where you're watching the show from in the comment box, that'd be great. I always like to see where people are checking in from. Here is Nick Saban following Alabama's 39-10 victory over Missouri.
For this game, a lot of people talk about the fact that we haven't been in a tough game. We haven't had a lot of adversity, and I told I asked the players, how are you going to respond, to tough situations in the game, get back to playing the next play. And I think the players did a really good job of that. It was a tough game. Missouri was a physical team, physical up front on defense. And I was really proud of the way our players competed in the game. I think the defense played against a really good offensive team today and a really good quarterback, and did a really good job of holding them to 10 points. And I was really pleased with the way they competed in the game. So, we knew this was going to be a tough game. We had a lot of respect for Missouri and their team. If there was a disappointment, it was probably, the fact that we had the ball in the red zone, 3 or 4 times that we didn't score. I had to kick field goals, went for it on 4th down once, didn't make it. So, we need to do a better job in the red zone. They blitzed and pressured a lot, and, we didn't do a good enough job of handling that part of what they did. So if we'd have done a little better in the red zone, maybe we'd have scored, a little more. So, but I was really pleased with the way these guys played. It's great to see them respond to the challenge. They made a lot of commitments to each other that they were going to try to respond together as a team, and I think did that. And I think we'll have a lot of challenges in the future too, so this will be a good learning opportunity. We did get some guys nicked up. Tua could have went back in the game. He wanted to go back in the game. I didn't think it was worth putting him back in the game. Sort of tweaked his knee a little bit, the same one he sort of tweaked last week. So, we don't think there's any issues or problems with it. Probably the guy, Smitty, pulled a muscle, so he's going to be day-to-day and probably would be the most questionable guy that we have. The other guys, twisted ankles and bruised shoulders and some of that stuff, but I don't think anybody that may miss a day of practice or something, but I don't think it'll be an issue for the next game.
Coach, we'll start on the right with Ben.
There was a point a few weeks ago where you said that the team might need Jalen at some point this season. How important was it for him to be ready tonight when that time came?
Well, he's played a lot. We've played him a lot in games. He's done very well in games, and I think he did a great job of managing the game when he was in the game. And we were trying to run the ball and shrink the game a little bit, keep it away from them some. And I thought he did a really good job. And I think that we have every confidence that Jalen, 7 for 8, has really improved as a pocket passer, and really pleased with the way he played today, and I've been pleased with the way he's played all year.
Coach, come back on the left with Michael.
Yeah, your thoughts on the secondary after tonight handling Drew Lock, I think, on 142
Well, we didn't give up very many explosive plays, which is a good thing, Saban really played well in the game. I was pleased with the way he played. Had 2 interceptions, and we kept people cut off for the most part. Their 2 best receivers did not play in the game. They didn't play last week against South Carolina. I'm not sure what's exactly wrong with them, but I thought we did a pretty good job for the most part. And there's plenty of room for improvement. We did make some errors early on. But we played nickel most of the time, even though, they were in 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, which is usually something that we would play regular against. But the front did a good enough job stopping the run that we didn't need to do it, and we could adjust to all their formations a lot better in nickel, and we settled in, and I was really pleased with the way the guys played in the second half.
Up front here with Drew.
All right, that was Nick Saban following Alabama's 39-10 victory over the Missouri Tigers. This weekend, Alabama will take on Tennessee in Knoxville. It'll be my first time in Knoxville. I'm looking forward to it. Heard that there's some pretty good places to eat. Heard the atmosphere, should be packed following Tennessee's victory over Auburn. That was surprising, right? What about what are you guys' thoughts on both Georgia going down, Auburn going down? That was those are some big losses in the SEC, right? Notre Dame almost went down. West Virginia went down. Miami went down. Colorado lost, right? There's a lot of teams losing on College Football Saturday other than Alabama. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'll open up the call-in line in just a few minutes. 205-686-3604. Have some stats that I wanted to get out to you. And these are the offensive stats from the game last night against Missouri. Alabama 39, Missouri 10. Tua Tagovailoa struggled in not a big way. In my opinion, it looked like his knee was bothering him. Didn't look like himself throughout the night. 12 of 22 for 265 yards and 3 touchdowns. Still very effective. That first touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy was really incredible. In rushing, how about Damian Harris, Najee Harris, and Josh Jacobs all getting a good amount of carries. Damian Harris, 14 carries, 62 yards. Najee Harris, 13 carries, 57 yards. Josh Jacobs with 9 carries and 52 yards. Receiving wise for Alabama, I'm not sure why that's not pulling up, but both Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs hauled in 100 yards. Jerry Jeudy finished the night with 47-yard average per catch. He had that long touchdown run. Did you guys see that play where it was Henry Ruggs. It was called back by a holding call, but Henry Ruggs took off on the sideline and scored what would have been a touchdown. It was unbelievable. The speed, he has Olympic style speed, right? He got jets on him. Henry Ruggs, my goodness, he can certainly fly. Okay, more stats. These are the defensive stats for the game. Let me get those pulled up for you. These are the defensive stats. Mack Wilson, he came out and said that he needed to study more, and he was more effective last night. I think there was some times where Missouri, it looked like they were gashing Alabama through the middle of the field, but I think Missouri was just doing a good job getting to those linebackers, and Dylan Moses and Mack Wilson having a tough time getting off of those blocks at some point. But Mack Wilson did do a good job last night. 11 tackles. Led the team. Quinton Williams, outstanding performance, 7 tackles, including that safety. He actually had 2 quarterback hurries. Raekwon Davis, 6 tackles. You guys see him throw a couple punches? Yikes. But he was accountable. Came up and apologized last night, and the Missouri lineman accepted his apology. He's never seen that before on Twitter, but between like the 2 players. One saying sorry, the other one saying he accepts the apology. Deontay Thompson, 4 tackles, 2 for losses. He continues to play very well. And Dylan Moses with 4 tackles. Shaheem Carter, Patrick Surtain. I thought, in my opinion, and Coach Saban said this as well, Savion Smith played really well. Remember, he lost his starting spot against Ole Miss to Patrick Surtain. Steps in last night after Trayvon Diggs breaks his foot. And he has 2 interceptions. Thought he played well, and I think that's important for Alabama moving forward because that secondary sure is thin. Here's the passing chart. Directional chart of Tua Tagovailoa. So as you can see, not as effective as the past couple games. Still 87.4 grade out over 20 yards down the middle of the field. 1 for 2 with 81 yards. To the outside right continues to flourish. 1 for 1, 57 yards. Across the middle, that 4 for 6, 83.5 grade out. And what you see over the middle of the field, that's that RPO. And Tua is just incredible. I think he's the best college football quarterback when he can read those linebackers, get them to suck in, and he can hit their wide receivers. It's really remarkable what Tua does on the RPO. Hold those calls. We'll take your calls in just a minute. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in just a few moments, and I'll get your call in right here on BamaInsider.com. I want to show you now. I'm going to show you the offensive grades. Okay, if you watch our show, you'll know that I put these grade outs on and how they work. I'll walk you through it. So on the far left, you have the player's name, then their number, and then if they started, that's a star, right? If they started, they have a star by their name, then their position, the total plays that they play, otherwise known as a snap count, and then on the far right, it's their overall grade. So as you can see, Dredrick Wills up at the top, 66.4. Ross Piersbacher, 62.6. Jonah Williams, best graded out lineman, I believe, 73.4. Jerry Jeudy, I'm surprised he didn't get graded out that high, 72.5. Maybe he missed some blocks downfield. I mean, the Pro Football Focus grades him on a variety of aspects. But I'm sure his passing run route was incredible because Jerry Jeudy's on fire this year. Lester Cotton didn't do as well as I thought he'd do, 60.8. He's kind of been up and down this season. Tua Tagovailoa, check that out, 69.8. That's his lowest graded game of the entire season. Usually we see Tua in the 90s, mid 90s, even that. Irv Smith didn't even have a good night last night either, 54.3. So a lot of these guys didn't have the night that we're accustomed to seeing so far, but it wasn't a terrible performance. Things didn't go well for Alabama. Hold those calls. I'll get them just a few minutes. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. I'll open up the line in just a minute. Damian Harris, 67.6. Devontae Smith, 73.9. As I mentioned, looks like he's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks after a pulled muscle. That's what Saban said. And then I kind of got some inside sources that told me Devontae Smith is going to be missing these next couple games. Jalen Waddle, 60.1. Highest graded player. Get this, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, 77.1. 7 for 8 passing last night. Did a good job when he came in. I think Alabama fans are very happy to see Jalen having some good success when his numbers called. He's been dependable this season, and I think he's really improved on his deep ball. Right, he had that nice pass to Henry Ruggs. That was a beautiful toss last night. I mean, Jalen Hurts is doing what he can. What about when he caught that pass out of the slot position? Gotta like that. Jalen Hurts is your highest graded offensive player for Week 7. Here is a look at the defensive grade outs. Patrick Surtain had a tough time last night. Only a 56.8 grade out and 63 total snaps. Xavier McKinney, Savion Smith, Mack Wilson all graded high. Mack Wilson, that was his best game of the season, 77.3. You haven't seen Mack Wilson even get into the 70s this season. Savion Smith, that's a great grade for a cornerback, 79.7. Deontay Thompson, that's a low grade out for him. He's usually very high, but still productive. And as Saban said, they didn't miss on or they didn't allow very many big plays from Missouri last night. As you know, Missouri has some weapons with their quarterback, Drew Lock. Raekwon Davis, a 75.4 grade out. And your top grade out against Missouri is Quinnen Williams, 90.1. I mean, my goodness, he just continues to play at a very high level. And what's interesting about Quinnen Williams is I think we all knew that he would be something special. But, I mean, replacing Daron Payne was going to be very difficult. And he's stepped in and he's just done an incredible job, at the defensive tackle position. We got a ton of calls in, so I'm just going to open up the line and I'll take you guys' calls and we can talk Alabama football. Remember, when you call in, make sure your speakers are turned down so there's no echo, and I'll get you guys, it's your show. I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Here we go. All right, line is open right now, and call-in number is just like that. All right, thanks for calling. It's you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up? This is Rob in Colorado.
Hey, what's up, Rob? You know what? You actually have an echo. Could you turn down your speakers in the background, please?
We good now?
Yeah, it should be better. I haven't talked to you in a minute. Rob, you doing all right?
Yeah, trust me. I watch your shows. I'm in the chat area sometimes, but I didn't get a chance to call in, but I made sure I wanted to call in tonight.
Give me your thoughts on that game last night, Rob.
First off, I'd like to say, did you notice how the defense kind of turned into 2017 once Tua got hurt? It's almost like Nick Saban said, "Hey, we got to win this game," or we were already winning, but it just seemed like they weren't allowing anything once Tua got hurt. Like how we usually win games with our defense. Like, did you notice that too?
Yeah, I think, one thing that I noticed last night was a big improvement from the defense week over week. I also think that the defense had time to breathe last night against Missouri. I mean, even though Alabama was scoring at a quick rate, the defense was also out there, had time to make adjustments. And I really liked what I saw from the defense. And as I said, Mack Wilson really did a good job. I think we've all wanted to see improvement from Mack Wilson, and we certainly saw that against Missouri last night.
How do you feel about that tackle on Ruggs by the backup linebacker that came in?
Yeah.
I forgot what number he was. How he twisted his leg.
Yeah, there was some. Was
that intentional?
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, anytime you grab someone's ankle and you're trying to twist it and tweak it, but there was some ugly things in that game last night. I mean, I think everybody saw that with the guy twisting Henry Ruggs' leg, and then everyone saw Raekwon Davis out there throwing blows. It was, no, Raekwon, no. I know
you can't do that. Hey, the guy has his back turned to him. He's looking back at him like, really?
That was really uncharacteristic for Raekwon. But as I mentioned, he said it was kind of interesting. He went last night and wrote an apology letter and posted it on Twitter. And then the guy who he punched accepted the apology. Was awesome.
Oh, how nice.
Exactly. So they made friends, and we're moving forward. So,
hey, so bench. I think you bench Tua, put him in the rehab protocol, let him rehab his leg. That gives him 3 weeks. Put all the pressure on Hurts. Say, Hurts, look, this is your chance to start a game, get some film, show everyone you can pass the ball. Let Mac Jones know that, hey, you might go in the game too, or you probably are going to go in the game. You're on the road. Show everybody what you got. Let Tua comes back week 9, 3 weeks out on that leg in Baton Rouge.
You know what?
What do you think?
I mean, that's not a bad plan, but I mean, until Saban says that Tua cannot play, I mean, Tua's going to play. But I think in that scenario, I think you bring up a good point. Jalen, I mean, he's beat Tennessee the last 2 years and beat them bad.
2 years,
right?
yep.
I mean, and then after Tennessee, you have the open week. And that gives you preparation and time to heal for Tua, to heal his body. And LSU, I mean, they beat Auburn in Death Valley. They beat Georgia in Death Valley. And Alabama's going to Death Valley as well. And I know Alabama's going to be, 10-point plus favorite in that game. But LSU, the way that they're playing, LSU versus Alabama, that'll be LSU's Super Bowl. Ed Orgeron will do everything he can to beat Alabama. Tua needs to be 100% healthy for Alabama in that game. I mean, it's going to be.
There's no way they beat us if Tua's healthy.
Oh no! No
way.
No. So I know Alabama fans. Some wanted Jalen Hurts to dip out and split. I bet they're glad he's here now.
You know what, bro? I'm with you, and I have a confession. I was one of them.
Yeah.
But man, Coach Saban, in Saban we trust, he saw something in Hurts that we didn't. And man, he was right.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Rob. Call again next time, man.
Okay.
Good to hear from you.
All right.
All right. Good call in from Rob in Colorado. Call-in number is 205-686-3604. Give me a call just like that. All right. Good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mike from Kentucky. How you doing, Kyle?
Hey, Mike. Thank you so much for calling in. I always appreciate your calls. You always bring good insight to the program. You're on the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a couple of areas I want to hit quick, and then I'll let somebody else talk. I think the knee definitely affected Tua's accuracy to a degree. He's still fantastic, but he didn't quite have that pinpoint accuracy he's used to having. And I thought that Anthony Jennings, it may not reflect in his grades for the game, but he's starting to be a disruptor off the edge like he was last year. He was our best edge rusher before he got hurt against Florida State. And I think he's returning to form, and that's a much-needed presence we're going to need defensively.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. There was a particular play last night where Anthony Jennings, and I've been questioning his athleticism early on in the season because I know he's coming off an injury, but at times he's looked slow out in the open field. But last night he made a very athletic play where he jumped up and he batted a pass down from Drew Lock, and it was actually Missouri had to punt thereafter. So I saw a lot of positives as well from Anthony Jennings. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I'm from Alabama, but I've been up here in Kentucky for a long time. I wish they'd let me get a hold of Tua's knee. I could fix him in one day, brother.
Yeah.
There's an equine product. It's called Poultice, and I swear by it. I've used it myself. I got my ankle banged really hard in the starting gate at Belmont Park when I was schooling. You have to school an unraced horse in the gate so the stewards can grade the horse, and they make a determination if this horse is ready to race or not. And I had a 2-year-old pitch a fit with me in the gate, and he banged my ankle hard, bro. By the end of the day, I couldn't even walk on it. And one of the grooms in the barn in the afternoon feed, I used to hang around the barn a lot. I didn't have to in the afternoons because I was a rider, but this groom did my ankle up in this stuff called Poultice. It looks like drywall mud. And I'm like, are you sure this is going to work? He says, I guarantee it's going to work.
Hey, there you go. If Tua's out there, hey, there's some advice right here from Mike in Kentucky.
I'm telling you, you're in Tuscaloosa. Get the word out. But that groom put this stuff. It looks like drywall mud. He put a 1/4-inch coating all around my ankle, put a wet paper bandage on it, and then a dressing. And he said, let this stuff dry overnight, and then wash it off in the morning in the shower. I know it sounds crazy, and I know the University of Alabama ain't gonna listen to Mike from Kentucky. But the next day, my ankle was brand new, bro. No pain. It drew every bit of soreness, heat. And as long as Tua's knee doesn't have any damage to his anterior cruciates or his collateral ligaments, if it's just sore, there ain't nothing better, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, good stuff.
I mean, I may sound like a crackpot from Kentucky, but I swear by it, bro. It put me back on the mend in one night.
No, I think everybody's concerned about Tua, and rightfully so. I mean, the season that he's having. I'm eager to see what Nick Saban has to say on Monday at the press conference. It's going to be the first. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in his first opening comments. We'll of course have that right here on Bama Insider. But the health of Tua is vital to this team's run. Everybody knows that. It's a major storyline. But until we know anything different, we got to go with the tweaked knee. But I appreciate the call, Mike. I mean, I appreciate the call in. One more time, say what they use on you. Say it again.
It's called poultice. It looks like drywall mud.
Poultice, drywall mud.
You put it on the affected area. I mean, it won't heal a torn tendon, but as far as drawing heat and soreness, dude, I was brand new. I could not walk, and I was brand new the next day. I swear by it. I swear by it. But I agree with the first caller. I think Hurts is more than capable of handling Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
I'd set him down. I'd give him a rest. We're going to need him for LSU. I totally agree with the first caller.
Definitely. We'll call in again next time, Mike. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That was Mike in Kentucky. Calling line is open, 205-686-3604. I want to get your thoughts. If there's some way, some home remedy that you might know to fix Tua's knee. On the comment box, someone just said, Tua can have my knee. Check that out, right? Tua can borrow my knee. You guys are awesome. All right. All right. Good evening. Thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Westchester, Pennsylvania.
All right. What's up, man? Thank you for calling. You're on the show. Go ahead.
I'm actually on the show? Oh,
yeah.
Sick, dude. So I was watching the Missouri game, right?
Okay.
And I noticed all the niggers running around.
Okay, that was uncalled for. Hey, I mean, you know what? We're starting to get popular, and a lot of people are starting to call in. I mean, when you call in, make sure you have clean language. Don't say anything that's going to be offensive. Honestly, it affects our YouTube channel, so it's not cool to call in and say profanity. I mean, that's just uncalled for. So don't call the show and be an idiot. Don't call. Be cool. And I'll take a call. But if you're going to call in and be an idiot, I mean, we're going to have to start doing some other stuff with the show. So don't do that. Don't do that anymore. I don't appreciate it. I'll quit the show right now and we'll hang up. All right? Line is open, 205-686-3604. Don't call and don't be an idiot. Show is open, 205. That's so disrespectful. So disrespectful. Hey, you're on the call line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
Pennsylvania.
All right. Yeah, you're on the line. Go ahead. Shoot.
All right. So I think I've.
All right. It's the same person. All right. Call line is open, 205-686-3604. Give me a good caller. All right. Give me a good caller. Alabama still rolling. You know, it's kind of interesting that the line for this weekend between Alabama and Tennessee has not been set. Nope. It's the same. Can someone else call on the show so we can get somebody else in to stop these people from calling? All right. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the line. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
Hey man. This is Jared from Buffalo, New York, man. I'm not true, Kyle. Just gonna say that right now.
Man, what is up with these people calling in, man? Come on.
Oh my goodness.
And you know what's
funny? I called because I live in Buffalo. I called into a radio show last week, and the same problem. It was a similar incident where this same dude just kept calling and just kept making racist comments, and it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it happens, and we don't. Let's just move forward, man. You brought I appreciate the call last time. I'm sure, obviously, we have a lot to talk about following this game against Missouri. I mean, Alabama they straight up didn't play their best, but at the same point, they still won by 29. They still covered the spread. What are your thoughts about this game and your thoughts about going into Tennessee?
I thought offensively, I thought we played, we didn't play, of course, to the standard where we can score 50 points, but I felt like, just watching Tua, watching him trying to plant, if everybody would like recognize, like every time he would try to plant, he was in pain the entire time. So again, I honestly think it's more serious. I think it's a little bit more serious. I don't think it's just tweak. I think it's a little bit more meaning into it because every time he tried to plant, he just did not look comfortable. He did not look right. So I think there's a little bit more into it. I don't think it's like serious, like an ACL. I don't think it's serious, but I think it's a little. I feel like it's a little bit more serious than what the coaches expected it to. But of course, I believe in Saban. I think he's definitely an honest, individual. So he's always been honest with us. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to trust, Saban with that. But as far as our performance, because I was paying attention mostly to the linebackers. I was paying attention to them close. I watched every snap, watched every play, and my eyes were just focused on Dylan Moses and Mac Wilson. Because one of the biggest problems that we have is that when we go against teams that love to pull, that loves to try to run between the tackles, our linebackers, they cannot get off tackles. They can't get off blocks. It almost looks like they're almost afraid to engage. We used to have linebackers that they just love the contact. They love the engagement. We don't have that. And I think a big reason for that is because our linebackers, they're not the biggest. They're not the biggest out there. They're 230 pounders. And even though they can run sideline to sideline, they can, they're quick and they're fast, if not faster than some of the best running backs in the SEC. Still, when we go against a physical team like LSU, that their offensive linemen are 5-star players and they're reaching, they just absolutely destroyed Georgia's inside linebackers and that physical running style that they did. We're gonna need both those players, and I think our defensive line played pretty decently, but we just can't rely on the defensive line all the time. The linebackers, for the most part, they have to step up. They have to close in those gaps. Because if we don't do that, if you look at what happened last year with LSU, with Mississippi State, and eventually the game that caught us was Auburn, it's because our linebackers, they could not get off the engagements with the offensive line. So that is something that I kept my eye on. I feel like we did better, but there was a lot of instances and plays that if this was LSU or if this was Georgia, a lot of those 4 or 5 yard gains I've seen from Saturday would have been chunks, would have been huge chunk gains. So we got to do better. I try to, disengage. As far as the linebackers going against the opposing team's offensive line, but I feel like overall wise, defensively we improved. Offensively we were all right, and special teams got to get better.
Special teams. The punting game. Skylar DeLong, bless his heart, that was a 12-yard punt. 12-yard punt. I mean,
he is.
Oh man, I saw him come. So I'm in the media box, and I'm looking down, and Skylar DeLong he does a 12-yard punt. He comes off the field. His head was down. I mean, oh man, and Alabama fans are used to J.K. Scott. Can you imagine following J.K. Scott? I mean,
oh my goodness, I can just see. J.K. Scott honestly is my top. He's one of my top 5 players because. The way he punts it, it's almost a guarantee he's going to punt that ball inside the 10. Every punt that is going to be a 50-yard punt every time. And I feel like the pressure is definitely on Skyler. I mean, you can just look at his face every time he's on the field. The pressure is just on him, and I don't know what has to happen with him. Whether if he has to just stay after practice and try to. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? This is my idea. This is my idea for the punting game. Okay, I said this earlier on Bama Insider. Can Jalen punt? Seriously, check this out. Can you imagine Jalen from a rugby style punter? I mean, shoot, maybe he could punt more than 30 yards. If Jalen was a rugby style punter, it would be a nightmare to defend, right? It would be an absolute nightmare to defend. But I appreciate the call, and call again next time, man. You always bring such insightful stuff. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Call in number 205-686-3604. I don't know. I mean, I'm not kidding about Jalen being, if he could somewhat punt as a rugby style punter, it's got to be better than 12 yards. That was bad from Skylar DeLong, and I hope he improves. He's a freshman. I don't know. By the way, the atmosphere last night at Bryant-Denny Stadium was electric. They played Dixieland Delight in the fourth quarter. Students didn't keep it clean. They tried to. They're playing it, and when they have to say, beat Auburn, the students were saying what they needed to say, and Alabama was blasting beat Auburn on the loudspeaker. It was awesome. The stadium was packed the entire night. Which is great for everybody. Even Nick Saban was happy there at the end. Calling number is still open, 205-686-3604. All right, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Got two calls, actually. You're on the line. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
You're on the line with David Kendall from Halton, Louisiana.
Hey, what's up? How you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I'm doing wonderful after that Alabama win last night. I was kind of nervous there at the beginning. Missouri played pretty tough against us right off the bat, but our defense stepped up. That's what we've been needing, is a little bit of adversity, like Coach Saban said.
Yeah, I think so. I think Alabama certainly needed to go 4 quarters with the team, and a lot of players said that Missouri was the most physical team that Alabama has played thus far. There was a particular play where I saw Ross Piersbacher, who's a giant man. He's Alabama's center. I saw him get depleted by one of the Missouri linebackers. I'm not kidding you. He came up and just hit Ross Piersbacher. Piersbacher flew up in the air. Missouri, they brought it last night. But what do you want to talk about tonight regarding this team that's now 7-0 and ranked number 1 in the coaches poll and AP poll?
Well, I live here in Louisiana, so I get a lot of flack from LSU fans around here.
You're living behind enemy lines.
I went to – what's that?
You're living behind enemy lines.
Oh, yeah, deep in enemy lines, I promise you that. And I'm the only Alabama fan out of my family, and I'm not no bandwagon jumper like everybody thinks I am. But anyways, as far as defense, that Savante Smith, I believe that's his name, he stepped up last night. I was really, really, really impressed with him taking over the position that he played last night for our injured cornerback and everything. I think he did really, really well with 2 interceptions. And, the defense, they're going to have a challenge coming up here in November 3rd in Death Valley. Just hopefully they can. They're young defense, but we got some really talented guys on the front 7 up there that can put a lot of pressure on this Joe Burrow for LSU. I think they can really put some pressure on him, kind of like what Florida did whenever they beat LSU last weekend.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. That was Savion Smith, who was the cornerback replacing Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs broke his foot, likely out for the season. Savion Smith stepped in and did a great job at corner. Even Saban complimented him. He had 2 interceptions, now has 3 on the season. Savion Smith, the junior college transfer to Alabama, and I think he played well last night. He had a high grade out. So hopefully he can continue to play at that high level, because the secondary is super thin after Patrick Surtain and Savion Smith. So secondary certainly did really well last night.
Right. As far as Tua with his knee, if I'm not mistaken, when he came out of the game before he got hurt, he took that knee brace off. I think that knee brace was giving him some trouble with stepping back in the pocket and planting like he wanted to. From what I heard, and I think I heard one of these ESPN commentators say that he was complaining about it. I played high school football and 2 years semi-pro, and I've worn knee braces before, and they're not comfortable, especially, I wasn't a quarterback, but, for a quarterback to wear something like that, that's got to scramble sometimes, step back in the pocket, plan on that back foot to throw the ball, it could irritate him a little bit. So he didn't have that brace on whenever he re-injured himself. He just had one of those Velcro type braces on, that's real soft. It looked like to me.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a weird play that he stayed down on the field for a while, right? Because he took off on that long scamper, and then he just slid, and then he was down for a while. But this is what's intriguing about this whole Tua deal. Okay, if it's a tweaked knee or just a sprained knee, he went into the medical tent. Why did he go in for 20 minutes? Why did his parents come down to see him?
Right.
I mean, I mean, I know he's Tua, so he's that important, but I mean, why did mom and dad come down to check him out? I don't know. Tweaked knee. I think, whenever you're at the poker table and you get a hand dealt, you're not gonna say, hey, I got a crappy hand. You're gonna let a couple of cards drop on the table before you start making some moves. And I think that's what Saban's doing right now. He's kind of buying some time to figure out what exactly is going on with Tua.
Right. I was watching a video earlier today. I don't know if you know him or not, or follow him or heard of him. He's an LSU fan, big time. TJ Dad, LSU Dad, or whatever his name is.
He has a big following.
I was watching the video of sir.
Go ahead.
He was talking about how, don't buy into the hype that Tua's hurt. It's a trick. He's really not hurt. He's pretending to be hurt. Blah blah blah. So Tennessee, be ready. He's playing y'all, and he's playing everybody at Saban's little scheme. He spews a lot of hate towards Alabama because Alabama's just so hard to beat. And they hadn't beat Bama in 7 years, something like that. So he's waiting for that day. But I do believe there's something actually wrong with Tua's knee. What it could be, I don't know. Alabama's going to do what they can to find out what it could be. They may have to do a more high definition X-ray or maybe a MRI or something like that, to get visuals of the ligaments. He could have a torn ligament for all we know, or it could be just a real deep bruise, But that when he slid in yesterday, I looked at his right foot and his cleat kind of stuck in the ground, and you could see it kind of twist that knee a little bit more. So I believe he's really hurt. I believe he'll recover. He's young, and Alabama's got some of the best doctors and medical staff that money can buy.
Hey, well, I appreciate the call. Call again next time. Good stuff. I appreciate it, from Louisiana.
All right, brother. Roll Tide.
All right, thank you. All right, calling number still open, 205-686-3604. That's my whole deal. Is like I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor. Saban's not a doctor either. Kept him in the medical tent 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the call line. You there still? Did we lose you? I think we lost our last caller. Call back in. 205-686-3604. No, I've heard about TJ from LSU. There's a lot of people on YouTube who do a fantastic job. I don't know any of them. I know they got a lot of followers. So no, everybody props because everybody's on the grind. Everybody's just trying to do their thing out here. It's awesome. Calling number is 205-686-3604. Alabama taking on Tennessee this weekend, and my first time up to Knoxville. I put up some numbers. Jerry Jeudy just completely balling out this season. 26 receptions, 705 yards, 9 touchdowns. His per catch average 27.1. We got another call. All right. Good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
This is Curtis from Austin.
Hey, good evening, Curtis. Austin, what a beautiful city. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, I'm a crimson dot out here in a sea of burnt orange.
I bet. Hey, Texas.
I love your show, man.
Thank you so much.
Do you think that Tosh LaPoy has finally gotten a grasp on Nick Saban's complex offense or defense?
You know what? That's a good question. From what I hear, I think he's getting a lot of help from Pete Golding, who works with the inside linebackers. As you know, Pete did a great job at University of San Antonio, UTSA, and he brings over a wealth of knowledge. And one thing that Tosh didn't have experience in was with the secondary. And Pete Golding has both experience working with the linebackers and the secondary. And as you know,
it seemed like that he was getting the calls in a lot quicker to the linebackers, and they were because of that they were performing more fundamentally, like in their tackling.
Yeah, I saw a lot of improvement from the inside linebackers last night. I think Dylan Moses has been steadily improving. He's so young, but we all expected so much out of Mac Wilson, and I don't think we'd seen that until last night. We saw a lot of positives from him, but at that same token, there was a couple plays where Alabama's linebackers just couldn't get off blocks. But if you look at the numbers, Alabama, it's not like they got gashed. There was a couple big plays, but the defense, they did well. And as Saban said,
yeah, it was definitely their best job this year on defense.
They didn't do bad. They only allowed 10 points to Missouri. I mean, Missouri's a team that can score.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Take care.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the call from Austin. 205-686-3604. So I think that was our first call from Texas. That was a first. That's cool. Those Longhorns, right? I mean, they're having quite a year as well. Who do you think, when you look at the college football top 5, who's going to stay undefeated besides Alabama, right? Good evening. Thanks for calling. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Q from Brooklyn, man.
Hey, what's up, man? How you been?
No time, man. I know you haven't heard from me in a long time. Yeah, I'm back.
I know. I was like, where's my Brooklyn callers at? My goodness.
Yeah, I'm back, man. Sorry.
So what's up? What'd you think of that game last night?
It was an okay game. We played okay. Our defense definitely stepped up. They didn't score more than 10 points.
Yep.
It was a good defensive game. I feel like if we switch Dylan Moses to Mike linebacker instead of Mac Wilson, I'd be better off. He's better off playing the weak side linebackers. Less thinking from Mac Wilson, and more focusing on him attacking the line of scrimmage and also dropping back in coverage. That's what he's best at. That's his best ability. His strong suit is not calling out the plays, because you see that it takes us a long time for the defense, everybody to set up. Mac has to tell 3 or 4 people. I feel like Dylan Moses will be best at Mike linebacker, if you do not agree.
No, you know what? I mean, Dylan Moses has a very high IQ. I'm not bashing on Mac Wilson. I mean, but Dylan Moses.
No, Mac Wilson, I respect. Listen, 30 is another Reuben Foster and another the one that went to Kansas City Chiefs. I forgot his name. Reggie Ragland. Yeah, I got his name.
Yeah,
Reggie Ragland. Mm-hmm. That's a 3.0. That's them. But I feel like Dylan Moses is like Sean Dion right there. Smart.
I think that's a great comparison.
Call out plays.
Yeah, Dylan Moses got a high IQ. He's going to be a good one for Alabama. He already is. What do you think about the secondary? And I want to get your thoughts on.
I like the shake up in the secondary.
Yeah,
turning to the weak side.
Yeah,
Saban Smith to the strong side. I feel like he's strong, so he knows that he's hungry now. After he got beat out on the first play of the Ole Miss game, he really focused. Like, he really put his mind into the playbook and knows what he's doing now. I feel like that secondary is set. We got to get more of the secondary in there. I seen Jaden Maiden come in there too.
Yeah.
He's playing in a dime package, so I like that. Put more of them in there. Get them more playing time, because the more playing time they get, the less we have to worry about.
And as Saban said last night following the game, even though Missouri was in a 2 tight end set with 2 wides, they stayed in nickel. And he felt they were doing a good job stopping the run. I think that's tough to do out of nickel.
That's true.
No,
that's true. That first 7. I feel like Raekwon Davis should have never even apologized for what he did. I feel like that whole game in the second half of Missouri was definitely playing a little more aggressive than they should have. They knew that the game was over for them, and they kept playing. Did you see the way they grabbed?
That was Henry Ruggs. Yeah,
Ruggs' leg.
Yeah.
Did you see the way they grabbed Ruggs' legs?
They didn't apologize for that.
Smith get hurt.
Yeah.
A lot of shaking up injuries. They were playing a little too aggressively when they knew they were getting their ass kicked. Excuse me if I'm not allowed to say that. I apologize.
No, but no, you're good. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think Missouri was very physical. I think they had, they came in with their best game plan, but as Saban said, their 2 best wide receivers didn't play. But with that said, there was a couple plays that Drew Lock did make.
Who cares? If those two wide receivers still played, it would have been the same score. Because I feel like our corners are straight. We can go man-to-man coverage.
Yes. Especially with Patrick Surtain.
That shows. It's not nothing about it's if you're a dog, you're gonna line up like a dog. And you're gonna work together. We're gonna get this work. Those receivers didn't want no work yesterday. No work.
Before I let you go, your thoughts on Quinnen Williams? I mean, my goodness, what a season he's having.
First round. He's a first round draft pick. Definitely. What he did, he's a definitely first round if he keeps it up.
Yeah. I mean,
no injuries, God willing, no injuries and anything. We have a lot of first rounders, juniors, underclassmen that will be eligible for the draft, and that will be entering the draft at the end of the season. I want Trayvon Diggs to come back. I don't think he should leave. Even if he tries to, he shouldn't go. He should come back for his senior year. Jalen, I wish him the best. We have to change our offense because he comes in. Why can't we run the same plays more aggressive like that? I know I understand we love Jalen. Thank you for the 26 wins and the 2 losses. But the fact that we have to go conservative and run the ball 3 down straight and then throw it on the last option because Jalen Hurts and we don't have that downfield throw. He had 1 good downfield throw. Oh, 2.
No, he had 2. He had 2. Yeah, he had 2.
2. Yeah, but that's not good enough. We should be able to do the same thing with Tua and Jalen switching off. Don't change anything. Don't run the ball more. Don't throw the ball more. 50-50. Because you see with Tua, it's like read option.
Yeah.
He reads that perfectly. He knows where he's going. Jalen, he's not like that. So we have to actually call plays for him to do things and be productive. It's not working.
Hey, man. Well, I appreciate the call from Brooklyn.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Running backs, healthy. As long as we keep them healthy like this and keep rotating, we are going to be great. As long as we have that running game. And the offensive line needs to pick it up and be more consistent in the run blocking. That's all I have to say. Roll Tide. We love Saban. God bless America. God bless New York. God bless Alabama. And Roll Tide.
Hey, man, please call again. You're one of my favorite callers from Brooklyn, by the way. So keep calling in. High-level caller, intelligent. Call again, man.
5-star. How about your boys?
You are.
Q from Brooklyn.
You are a 5-star, man. Thank you, man. All right. Talk soon, all right?
Yes, sir.
That's a high-level caller. I appreciate the call. And I like the style, too, the delivery with, like, the slow style. It reminds me of my friend from Puerto Rico, who I haven't talked to in a long time. I got the same exact voice. So I don't know. That's a good call. It's one of my favorite calls from Brooklyn. 205-686-3604. I'll stick around for a little bit more. Take your calls. And before we go, as I always do, kind of towards the back end of the program, be good people. I mean, you guys see when you guys call in and you guys don't want to have to deal with any of that drama. Leave that stuff out, right? And leave that stuff out in life and be a good mentor to somebody, right? We need good people. We got a call coming in from... Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thanks for calling in. Where are you calling in from and who I'm on the line with?
San Antonio, Texas, Ty Hamilton.
Hey, what's up, Ty? How you doing today? Good Sunday?
Oh, I'm having a great night. I was just calling because I heard some news. I don't know if you follow Alabama Sports Board or SEC on SECrant.com.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I got there's an insider there who has a very long track record of being right on a lot of things. He predicted, I think, what's his name, one of the old quarterbacks way back when, Blake Sims, when he was going to start, he predicted, a bunch of players' injuries, return timetables, just a lot of things. He predicted Tua would be the starter this year, how the coaches were favoring him. Well, he got a very distressing report on Tua's knee, apparently. Tua partially tore his meniscus, and he needs a scope. And the report is he might be out for a minimum 3 to 4 weeks. And I just, oof, man, I'm hoping this is not real. But if it is, man, this is big, especially with LSU coming up. Man, I hope I've never wanted to be more wrong.
Yeah,
than I am now.
well, that's the that is the rumor going around that Tua does have a torn meniscus. And now I say rumor because I've talked to some sources, haven't been able to pinpoint if it is the torn meniscus or not. As Saban said, I think he was buying some time following the game with the tweaked knee. I'm sure we'll find out more on Monday. But if that is a scenario, you can scope it and he can be back in 2 to 3 weeks. So that would be worst case. Best case is it's tweaked and he's ready to go for Saturday. I think everybody's going to try to sensationalize this as much as possible because it is Tua. But the rumor is going around, just as Todd says, I've heard it too, that it's a torn meniscus. We'll continue to track that. At this point, it's just a rumor, though. This isn't
no. Like I said, huge Tide fan. I've never wanted to be more wrong in my life.
Yeah, well,
I've literally never wanted to.
Well, I appreciate the call in. Call again next time from San Antonio, and appreciate the call tonight.
You have a good night too. Roll Tide.
Yep, thanks. All right, call in number 205-686-3604. I mean that's the rumor floating around. I mean, I'm not going to try to sensationalize that and I mean because all Saban said was tweaked, right? I mean, tweaked is a lot different than torn, right? It was just odd to me that he stayed in the medical tent, like I said, for 20 minutes. I mean, it seems strange, but then he just popped right out. He didn't go to the locker room. He went back and he got back with the team. And then Saban said after the game that he could have went in if he wanted to. That's where we're at right now. I don't know. All right. Well, it's been a good show. I appreciate it. I mean, all the call-ins and good feedback. Thank you so much for joining the show. Sunday night is a popular night for the show, and I appreciate being here with you guys. It's really amazing to get the call-ins. I never thought that I would have a call-in show in Tuscaloosa. I never even thought I'd be living in Tuscaloosa, and here I am talking with you. I'm having friends from all over the country call in, from Brooklyn to Hawaii, from everywhere in between. So keep it up. Please keep calling in. If I don't get your call in, you can leave a voicemail and potentially play it on the show. When you call in, as I said, please, no more strange calls, no more profanity, racism. We don't want any of that on our channel, and nobody needs to tolerate that anyways. So keep that off. Don't call in with that type of BS. I mean, it's just not going to be tolerated on our program, all right? As we say towards the end of the show, special thanks to our United States military, past or present. Thank you so much for what you've done for our great country. Privileged to live in the United States. All right, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Appreciate the call in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Mike from Springville again. Spoke to you last week. I just started listening to your show. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you so much.
Just thought I'd call again this week. Speaking to his knee, it's clear he was a little off, or maybe it was a little lack of practice, maybe a little rest. But looking at him, his demeanor on the sideline, I didn't see a whole lot that concerned me otherwise. But I guess I was right about a few things last week, that the defense definitely responded. I was really excited about the way the defense line, 92, Williams had a game and a half, 99, and I agree with your other caller, and particularly saw a game that was rather, I'll say, very physical in a ankle twisting kind of way, but I thought Alabama responded, and even in maybe not their best performance, still came away with a 30-point win. When you look at what happened in the rest of college football, still quite a performance overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at the score, you're like 39-10. It didn't feel like a 39-10 game to me, but they did a great job on defense. And I thought, just like you, it didn't seem like the offense really ever found a rhythm besides that second play when Tua connected with Judy. And that was beautiful. I don't know. It just it was kind of a strange game, but I think when you look at it overall, it's not as bad as we're maybe making it out to be. And this team's still scoring 53 points a game, still averaging over 560 yards of offense per game.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was kind of ironic when you're 100% in the red zone, but you're 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals. You're still 100% in the red zone. I think that would have beat a lot of teams this weekend. And I'm really impressed with what they continue to do. I was really excited the way the defense responded, particularly. I thought across the board, from the coaching to being in position to the tackling, I thought they responded the right way. And, unlike Georgia, who I thought was a little different last week, and got exposed this week, but we'll see how they respond too. They Kirby Smart, that may be the fuel he needed to light a fire over there. I still think they've got a lot of talent. We hadn't heard the last of them, but they got certainly woke up a little bit this weekend. So all things considered, when you look across the landscape, it was still a really good weekend.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you just got to keep winning. And just as you said, I mean, I don't think we've seen the last of Georgia. I wouldn't be surprised if they start playing a little bit more Justin Fields. I don't know. It seems like Jake Fromm has been kind of struggling, in my opinion. But LSU, I mean, they beat Auburn, they beat Georgia, and their Super Bowl will be their game against Alabama, right? I mean, that game's not.
I'm looking forward to it. Well, I don't want to. This season's special. I don't want to look past Tennessee at all.
No.
Certainly what Pruitt's done there is this weekend, and I don't know if that's so much a statement of what they're doing or what the other team's not doing.
Sure.
But looking forward to seeing the defense respond again this weekend. But I really enjoy your show. I'm going to keep listening, and I will let somebody else get on the line.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in. I sincerely appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Good calling. 205-686-3604. Probably take one more call, then I'll call it a night. As I always say on the end of the program, though, be good people, right? Be a mentor. I didn't get to finish saying thanks to our United States military, past or present. Really great honor to live in this great country, and really respect and appreciate what veterans have done for this great country, along with current serving members of the military. Thank you so much. I mean, it means a great deal to us. 205-686-3604. Take one more call, and then I'll catch you guys back on Bama Insider. You know what? If you're interested to become a premium subscriber of BamaInsider.com, please email me, Kyle@BamaInsider.com. Give you a free 30-day trial and, help you get the inside access. I drop a lot of nuggets, team nuggets that I don't provide here on the show. Andrew Bone also does a fantastic job bringing you the recruiting scoop, and Tony Sukalis, our team writer, does an exceptional job covering the team nonstop on BamaInsider.com. We're part of the Rivals.com network, part of Yahoo Sports, and go to all the games, all the practices, and love to take your calls and love to talk Alabama football with you. It's been a great night. It's been a great show. So thank you very much for calling in, everyone. We got some great dialogue, and there's much more coverage at BamaInsider.com. From Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is the BamaInsider.com live stream. My name is Kyle Henderson. Email is Kyle@BamaInsider.com. I'll catch you guys next time. Next show planned for Thursday. Be talking with Andrew Bone here in the next couple of days regarding recruiting. A lot of recruiting news to catch up on. A lot of recruiting nuggets dropped by Andrew Bone. Have a good night. I'll talk soon on BamaInsider.com. Have a good night from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This is the BamaInsider.com live stream. Thank you for joining us tonight. See ya.